as you mentioned, the Twins end up at 3. So kind of crisis averted. But I'm curious, I guess, like Jeremy, like your reaction to them being slotted in 3. Obviously, we wanted 1. I do think we spent a good amount of time last week talking about like how a top 3 pick would be a solid outcome, something that they had around 65% odds to accomplish. So now that we've had a couple of hours to marinate on it before we get into all the machinations and the details and the money and the talent and all that stuff, how are you feeling about winding up 3rd for a team, by the way, who finished with the 4th worst record in MLB in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, it's a disappointment when you know who the big prize is, right? Even if that can change. It's like if there would have been a lottery with Bryce Harper or Steven Strasburg, like I anticipate Cholowski going kind of wire to wire here.
Yeah, I agree.
But like Skeens kind of came out of not necessarily nowhere, but made a big leap. So 3's not an awful place to be from the perspective of, like I said, I think Cholowski goes wire to wire. The White Sox take him, which absolutely sucks for Twins fans because that's another stud that they will add to their farm. And the more that I've read on prospects and kind of gone down that rabbit hole as much as I'm willing to do in December, Emerson is number 2. And I think he's very, very much the type of guy that Twins would take at 2 if they would have got 2nd. And so now it's like, who's going to be that guy that kind of elevates into that list. And like, you know, we talk about the year that the Twins got Brooks Lee, they kind of fell into their lap. Jackson Holliday went first, or was it Ethan Holliday? Is it Jackson Holliday?
Jackson.
And he at this point in time, he was like 50 something, right? And had a great spring and went all the way to 1.
Or Skeens.
Well, Skeens was still in that. I mean, he was in the top. He wasn't the number 1 pitcher, but he was there. Willits last year was a late first type guy. And there are kind of guys that fit that profile, and I kind of match Willits. I said at this time last year, like, oh, you know, Willits to the Twins would make sense. You hated him. He went first overall. You know, the rest is fun history. But I think at this point in time, like, it feels to me like it's 1, and then it's 2, and then it's a lot of names. And the Twins can cast a wide net, have strategy, and figure out what guy best fits their type of plans. And you know, like I've said with the draft before too, and with their kind of setup, like, you can take a swing. And I don't think at 3 you take a high school pitcher. I think that would be really hard. But if there's a college pitcher that really ascends, can make this a harder choice. I do think they would prefer a hitter. That's what they've done. But I think there are good options to look at right now, and we have talked and we'll continue to talk about some of those guys.